In today's video, we are reacting to a bombshell revelation from Brian Windhorst about Nikola Vucevic's future in the NBA. According to Windhorst, the Golden State Warriors are now the only realistic destination for the center. But what does this mean for Vucevic's future and the Warriors' strategy? Could this move change the course of the season? We're breaking it all down with our live reactions to this potential trade and the impact it could have on the NBA landscape. Stay tuned and let's get into it.
Weeks, but the Jimmy Butler saga is officially over. The six-time All-Star is headed to the Golden State Warriors in a package that includes Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson, Lindsey Waters III, and a first-round pick. So for more on this trade that has shook up the last 24 hours here in the NBA, we are joined by the one, the only, the handsome, the bald, Richard Jefferson. Thank you so much for making your debut on our trade deadline special today, Richard. You've been very busy. You were on the call last night when this trade broke for the game between the Hawks and the Spurs. But what was your reaction to this one?
My reaction is, I think Jimmy didn't get everything that he wanted, but I think he got a lot of what he wanted. I look at all of the things that have transpired in Miami over the last couple of months. And when I see Jimmy, I see a competitor. Is he as skilled as Kevin Durant? Is he as skilled as Klay Thompson? No. But is he still in his prime? Is he still capable and very, very capable? Yes. I like what he brings defensively. He's I hate to use this term sometimes with Jimmy, but he is an adult in the room. He can play. He plays on both ends of the floor. He is an ultra competitor. I never played with Jimmy, so I don't know all the things that go within the locker room, but I do know he's led a team to 2 NBA finals, and now he's paired up with Steph Curry and Draymond and the rest of the crew.
Lucky for you, lucky for us, Richard, this is not the only time you will be in our show. We will be checking back in with you in just a little bit. But Jimmy, he's having maybe a little bit of a down year if you look at the numbers by his standards. But we all know when the lights are the brightest, that is when Jimmy Butler thrives. There is no one better to break this down than the queen of the tape, Chiney Ogwumike, and Udonis Haslem, who knows a thing or two about Jimmy Butler. What y'all got?
Look, UD, the team that has won the most games in basketball over the last decade, just got that guy, one of the most clutch players in hoops. And so let's break this down. No one knows better than you.
Let's do it.
Talk to me about Jimmy Butler in a Golden State uniform. What are they getting?
Jimmy buckets right here. When you're coming off the pick and roll, it kind of reminds me of Dwayne Wade because he's a guy that people don't consider a shooter. When the lights are the brightest and you're in the playoffs, you cannot give him these kind of shots. He's a shot maker.
And that's a good defender right there, Drew Holiday.
This is a great defensive possession right here. I mean, you contest it, hitting the ball, contest. He's just Jimmy buckets. Once again, not a great shooter.
Tough
lights
situation.
are the brightest.
Right at
half court. Shot clock winding down. We at 43 feet right now. Just dribbles in and pulls up like he left his phone. Take that with you. In the playoffs, lights are the brightest. Jimmy buckets once again. So you're getting an ultra-competitive guy who can make tough shots in tough situations.
But the Golden State Warriors, they have to be very, very happy because look at this number. They have played in 31 clutch time games, tied for the most in the NBA. They have, a 16-15 record. So now you're going to have Jimmy Butler in those close game situations. And what are you going to get? You're going to get a little bit of this. Watch this. In a situation where you have 5 seconds left. I love this play. Shout out to Coach Mo. Just beeline all the way down to the rim with some misdirection action. This is the type of look you're getting, and look how powerfully he finishes. But also, okay, say this is a half-court set or in transition. He just knows how to probe, but at end of games, it doesn't matter who's in front of him. He has, the muscle, the strength, the IQ, and you told me something, UD. I hope you can share it with everybody else. You played ones with the best, right?
I played ones with the best.
What makes Jimmy different?
He makes you think. He attacks all your weaknesses. LeBron James can score on you no matter what he does. Dwayne Wade can score on you no matter what he does. This guy is going to attack every weakness that you have. He is not going to let you off the hook. He will exploit all your weaknesses defensively. Great pickup.
There's no one who knows the Heat and Jimmy Butler's fit there than Udonis Haslem. But there's no one who knows the Golden State Warriors side of this better than Bob Myers. So, Bob, take us inside Golden State's thinking here. Why is this the deal that they wanted to make?
Well, I don't know if it was they wanted Paul George, they wanted Lauri Markkanen, they wanted Kevin Durant, they got Jimmy Butler.
Well, the deal they made.
So the big deal they made, right? Yeah, right. Well, I'm not saying that's not to criticize the deal. I think what that all says and what I just said was they wanted another star. Starting in the summer.
Yeah, and I will say this, Bob, that they've been trying very hard to find a way to keep their offense up when KD, or when, what was it, 14?
Yeah.
when Steph is off the floor.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Butler can hold up your offense in a playoff setting.
Yes.
Steph goes to the bench.
And I think this move erased this uncertainty about being all in, so to speak. This move and the money, not just the move, but the money that Jimmy got for the next 2 years, we're playing poker. They just took it and pushed it in the middle. Question is, do they have jacks, underneath? Do they have kings? Do they have aces? That's the question. And here's the final thing, Wendy. They got it. This is not. They just got to stay healthy.
Yes.
They got to stay healthy, and when you got 3 guys their age, that's going to be the thing. But you know what? I like it, and he's a winner, like Udonis
Can I
said.
ask you something?
No.
So,
Yes, you can.
Just listen.
Go ahead, Wendy. I got it.
Steph Curry makes a lot of money, right? He's under contract for 2 more years. Jimmy Butler just signed 2 years, $111 million.
Yes.
Timeline.
Draymond Green under contract. How'd they paying Jonathan Kuminga?
That was my question.
Well,
Great
that's
question.
for my
Great question.
Bobby Marks,
Great
who's
question,
over
Wendy.
there. How are they paying Kuminga? That's a Wendy question.
I mean, that's a great question here, because here's what's going to happen next year. This is their payroll this year. When you have Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green, you have 3 players basically making 83% of their payroll. Remember, that Butler number for next year goes up to $54 million. You are $19 million below the luxury tax. This is even before addressing Jonathan Kuminga down here. And certainly, if his number is that $30 million number, they not only go through the luxury tax, they'll blow through the apron here. So basically, they're in a situation from prior years here. That's going to be the biggest question as far as for next year. For this year, it's about filling out the rest of the roster as far as what their 3 or 4 spots.
Yeah, and we know center position is definitely a need. They need more depth there. But let me ask, hey, Bob, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and
See,
Wendy's,
look at that.
Wendy's
It's different.
questions are not.
How important is it for them to be aligned on timelines? Because we know Jimmy Butler is uber competitive. So is Steph Curry. We know Draymond Green. That locker room is going to be fun. Talk about dogs. How important is it for them to all have that same mission, knowing that the end might be nearer than we ever thought?
I think it's important in that it creates some certainty. There's no more questions. Steph Curry, you're going to get a running mate. Can we get him help? This is what his help is. There's no more questions now. Now, is it going to work or not?
Yes.
And that's the real thing. In that locker room now, it's not about, are we going to timeline? Are we playing the young guys? It's about winning and winning now. And now they've got what we think is enough to do it. And so they just got to go do it.
And like you, my question is it going to work? Because you have a young guy in Jonathan Kuminga who is pushing to be the second, second option.
That part is not, that's unanswered.
Yes,
that part
that
is
is
not
my
been
question.
answered. I will say this, just one thing.
Go ahead.
And this is for anybody. When has a major trade, and I'm talking, you can throw Luke into this too, and Anthony Davis and Jimmy Butler and all this stuff. When has a major trade in season done a lot for a team? You tell me.
Pau Gasol,
maybe, right?
Of course he had the answer.
2008-ish?
Yeah, 2008. So that was, how many years?
Long time.
Let's say, it's 16 years. I mean, my
was
thing
2
is,
careers ago.
Even Kyrie and Luka, in their second year together, went to the finals. In their first year after the trade deadline, they didn't make the play-in. So I worry, Udonis knows better than anybody. When you make these deals with real players, fitting them in, even though when you play that Heat team, it took a while to get those guys going. That was a summertime thing.
There's an adjustment, and if I'm Jonathan Kuminga, I'm not just as easy to hand over the second fiddle to Jimmy Butler right now. I've been putting in the work.
But when you were sitting in that seat, Bob, you were at the top of the West the entire time. You didn't make in-season trades
because we weren't 500, like Wendy said.
Yeah.
But
I mean, how many trades did the San Antonio Spurs make in season?
Go ahead,
20 years.
Fair enough, but I'm just going to take it one step further. This was their move. You said it. They pushed in the chips. The question is, do they have something else that they're going to be able to turn over? Because we're talking about this summer already as a summer that
2 things. One, the Warriors are still working. There's a possibility of them getting shooting between now and 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Secondly,
they're going to need that. Draymond, Jimmy,
Kuminga,
all on the floor together.
I realize this can be a stupid statement and be accused against me in a few months.
Maybe just hold it. Wendy, don't do it.
You're advising me like an agent.
It's all right. This is between friends. No one will hear it.
There's not a lot of fear
Safe
from the
space?
teams. There's not a lot of fear from the teams out there about these teams at the top of the West. Now,
oh, you mean the teams that made the deals don't fear Oklahoma City and
Houston?
And maybe that's going to look like a mistake when Oklahoma City punches some giant holes in these teams come the playoffs. But I think these teams down in this level think even if it's an error, they think if we make one deal, maybe we could.
You know what I love? You know what we get to do? We get to find out who's right.
Yeah.
You know how you find out who's right? Udonis knows this. You play the games.
Oh, I can't.
You watch the games, and you see who wins the championship.
Go ahead,
That's
Didi.
who is right.
I would love to see a Laker OKC playoff series. Because what the Lakers did, I think that puts them in a
You
position.
like the Lakers over Dallas?
That's what I was going to say. They made a huge move
in
to
a
try to
7-game series.
You like the Lakers?
In a 7-game series.
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
What flies under the radar is that they believe that big Anthony Davis is the one that can carry them back to the NBA Finals, and that to me spoke volumes about the vulnerabilities of all the other top teams. They have opportunities in that position.
Yeah, the Western Conference right now feels in some ways wide open, and I don't mean that as disrespectful to the Thunder. It's
Not
just
at
one
all.
of those things is when you are young, you have to prove.
All right, everyone, now that we've had this intense discussion about Nikola Vucevic's potential future with the Golden State Warriors, let's dive into Brian Windhorst's analysis. When a journalist with Windhorst's experience and insight makes a claim like this, you can't just ignore it. He's known for his inside information and accurate predictions over the years, and this statement about the Warriors being the only possible destination for Vucevic isn't just speculation. There's a solid foundation behind it. First, let's break down the Warriors' situation. When you think about Vucevic, what immediately comes to mind is his offensive skill set and his versatility in the front court. He's a complete center, capable of scoring inside, stretching the floor to the perimeter, and even dishing out assists. He'd be a valuable asset for the Warriors, especially considering the small ball style they've embraced for years. The Warriors have always valued versatility, and Vucevic could fit seamlessly into that system. However, Windhorst raises a very relevant point. The Warriors' situation right now is unique. They have a core of Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, but their championship window is closing. What they need now are complementary pieces that help maximize the impact of that trio without sacrificing financial flexibility or disrupting team chemistry. Vucevic seems like the kind of player who can fill that role perfectly. He offers rebounding, scoring, and basketball IQ in the front court, but he can also extend the floor, which the Warriors love. Another interesting part of Windhorst's analysis concerns Vucevic's future in the NBA. He observed that with the increasing pressure on the Warriors to maximize their championship window, this trade makes sense. It's not about rebuilding or waiting for the future anymore. It's about winning now. And Vucevic, while not a guy who dominates headlines every day, is a smart option to give the Warriors the support they need to continue competing at the highest level. Plus, let's talk about the impact this would have on the trade market and the NBA landscape. Vucevic is a valuable player. We're not talking about some no-name guy. This is a veteran with a solid career and a well-rounded game. For the Warriors, he could be exactly what they're missing. A quality center who doesn't need to dominate the ball, but who can still make the team function. However, Windhorst also makes an important point about the Warriors' financial constraints. The team already has high salaries and a lot of players on hefty contracts. Pulling off a trade that fits Vucevic in without further burdening the payroll isn't going to be easy. Still, he believes the Warriors have the flexibility to make it happen, especially if they can move pieces that are no longer essential to the team. Vucevic wouldn't just be a good fit on paper, but also in terms of the Warriors' financial structure, which has to be considered in any potential trade. Windhorst's take on the Warriors' mindset is equally important. He points out that the team desperately needs a change in mentality. This is a team that was dominant, but that has gone through periods of instability, mainly due to Klay Thompson's injury and the fluctuations in Draymond Green's performance. The Warriors' glory days aren't infinite, and this championship window needs to be taken advantage of now. Windhorst suggests that the Warriors, more than ever, need to act to improve the roster around the core trio, and Vucevic would be an excellent addition in that regard. If this trade actually happens, it could be a game changer for the franchise. The Warriors have the chance to take a significant step towards another high-level season, but that will only be possible if they know how to use the right pieces. It won't be an easy task, and Windhorst also warns that the market is always moving. There are many variables that could interfere with this trade, and the competition will be fierce. Ultimately, Brian Windhorst's analysis is extremely relevant and should be taken seriously by any NBA fan. He not only points to the Warriors as a plausible destination for Vucevic, but also contextualizes this statement within a larger Warriors strategy. For them, the pressure is immense and time is running out. They need players who complement what they already have without compromising the team's flexibility and chemistry. On the other hand, Vucevic is also in an interesting position. He's been a pillar for the Chicago Bulls, but it's no secret that the Bulls are in a rebuilding phase. A trade to a team like the Warriors, which is in the hunt for another title, could be the step Vucevic needs in his career. He'd have the chance to shine on an elite team, alongside stars like Curry and Thompson, and help the franchise continue its quest for a championship. For Vucevic, this would be a big step towards further solidifying his career and leaving a significant mark on the NBA. So, what do you guys think about Brian Windhorst's analysis? Do you think the Warriors really are the only viable destination for Nikola Vucevic? How do you see this trade impacting the NBA landscape? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any updates on Vucevic's future, the Warriors, and everything else happening in the NBA. Let's talk in the comments. I want to know what you think until the next video.